3, 2.
Southwest Missouri Democrats, welcome to our very last digital town hall before the November 3rd election. The November 3rd election, the most important election of our lives. I bet most of you would crawl over hot coals or through broken glass to vote this year. If you can, vote early at your county courthouse. Early voting is happening right now at all 6 of our county clerk's offices inside the courthouses of our 6 counties from the hours of 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Saturday before the election, those offices will all be open for early voting. Call your county clerk's office for the times that they'll be open the Saturday before the election. We're going to speak to you tonight about something called GOTV, Get Out the Vote. We have several candidates that we're working for in Southwest Missouri up and down the ballot. You're going to hear tonight from some of those candidates that are running for the Missouri House. You're also going to hear from our gubernatorial candidate, Auditor Nicole Galloway, about the importance of voting on those down ballot races. DNC member Nanda Nunnally and first African-American mayor of Joplin, Melody Kober-Keene, had a conversation with Nicole when her tour bus stopped in Joplin on Monday. And we're so very excited that Nicole was able to speak with some of our local candidates as well in that stop. If you want to help with GOTV, get out the vote. All you need to do is call or text 417-437-8443 and let us at Southwest Missouri Democrats know that you're available to phone bank or help with other COVID-safe election duties before November 3rd. Another thing that we're also looking for are people that can volunteer on election day to be poll watchers or poll challengers. Southwest Missouri has been wrapped into election protection this year. This is the first year that our 6 counties in the Southwest Missouri area have been an official part of the Missouri Elections Protections Program, along with Kansas City, St. Louis, and Mid-Missouri. If you'd like to help by being a poll watcher or a poll challenger or a rover in any of our 6 counties, and you can take the day off on election day to be on call, please give me a call or send me a text at 417-437-8443. We have just a few days left until the most important election of our lives. The most important thing you can do is vote. The next most important thing you can do is bring 5, 10, 15 of your friends and family members to vote blue. We must vote blue for our future. Thank you, Southwest Missouri Democrats. Let's work every day between now and the election to put a woman in the Missouri governor's office with Nicole Galloway, to elect our first Black statewide elected officials with our lieutenant governor's race, Alicia Kennedy, and our Secretary of State's race, Yinka Folety. Let's put an experienced prosecutor in the Attorney General's office with Rich Finneran. Let's make sure that we elect Vicki England to state treasurer so that our financial matters in Missouri can be more secure. And please, do everything you can to talk to your friends and neighbors about our local House races. Josh Shackles running for 161, which is the greater Joplin area. Angela Thomas running in House District 160, which is the Neosho and Outer Newton County area. Brenda McKinney running in 158, which is the Berry County area. As well as Aaron Haley running in 163. That encompasses Carthage, part of Webb City, part of Carl Junction, and all of Oronogo and Carterville. These races are extremely important. They're just as important as our statewide races. And we know that you want to make sure to get out and vote for them on November 3rd. While you're voting, don't forget to vote no on Amendment 3. Have a good night, Southwest Missouri Democrats, and vote blue for your future. So you're all out here today because you support Nicole Galloway for governor, right?
Yeah.
Woo! You support Yinka Folety for Secretary of State.
Yeah.
Do you know how history-making this election could be for the state of Missouri? Do you? Do you know? I'm going to tell you. It's many, many ways. We're going to have a lot of firsts this year. We're going to have our first woman governor.
Yeah.
Woo!
She's also going to be the first CPA ever elected to the governor's office. She's probably the only person that's brought in $65 million in fraud and waste that we will put in the governor's office. Missouri also has the opportunity to have another first this year. You have the opportunity to elect your first Black statewide office holder. Did you know that in the state of Missouri we have never had a Black statewide office holder? It's far past time. The Missouri Democratic Party elected a slate of all Black individuals to the DNC this year in June at our convention. We have one of them here with us today, Miss Nanda Nunnally. On November 3rd, we have 2 opportunities to elect our first Black statewide office holder in the state of Missouri. Yinka Folety for Secretary of State and Alicia Kennedy for Lieutenant Governor. Please make sure that you get out and vote for these individuals. Please make sure that you get out and vote for Rich Finneran for Attorney General, and that you get out and vote for Vicki England for State Treasurer. These are so very important positions. I can remember I worked in politics in 2016 when we had all Democrats in administration -1. Lieutenant Governor was the only Republican we had in statewide office at that time. Then, in 2016, we completely flipped, and we only had 1 Democratic statewide office holder in the state of Missouri, and that was Nicole Galloway as auditor. It's time to stop wandering in the wilderness in Missouri. We need to put Team Blue back in power in the governor's office and up and down the ticket, because Republicans are not doing a good job of protecting Missourians. They're not doing a good job of protecting our state. It's not just COVID. They're obviously doing a horrible job with COVID. Our numbers are ridiculous in the Joplin area. We've made the national news multiple times for being a COVID hotspot. Joplin, Missouri, right here where we're standing. There is no reason for that. If we had a statewide mask mandate, we know that our numbers would be lower. Nicole Galloway will give you that. Governor Parsons has dropped the ball. He's an accidental governor in the first place. None of us elected him to be governor, but he could have risen to the occasion and done the job anyway. He has not chosen to do that. He has chosen to allow Missourians to die of COVID-19 because he does not want to pass a statewide mask mandate. He has chosen to send our kids back to school because, as he said, they'll just get COVID and they'll get over it when they go home. Our economy wasn't on very good ground to begin with before COVID, and it's on shakier ground now with Governor Parsons in the lead in our administration. We know the things that Nicole Galloway has done as state auditor. We know that she cares about Missouri families. We know that she cares about you, and you, and you, and you, and your children. She's an auditor. She's a mom. And the first time I saw Nicole speak at a Missouri Federated Women's Club event, when she was just beginning in her job as state auditor, I looked at the people at the table with me and I said, she's going to be governor someday, and I'm going to work for her. And so it was my pleasure to get to know Nicole over these years and to see the things that she has done for our state. And I am so abundantly grateful to be able to introduce to you today your next governor of the great state of Missouri, Auditor Nicole Galloway.
Woo!
Well, thank you very much. Thank you, Krista, for that warm introduction. I'm so appreciative of that. And before I get started, I think that we should give Yinka another round of applause. His dedication to service for our country, for our state, for the future of our state is next to none. I am so proud to be on the ballot with him, and I cannot wait for him to be in Jefferson City to help serve and move this state forward. You know, it is such an honor to be here. I've been traveling all across the state these past few days, and will continue to travel over the next 15 days because this election is so important and every vote matters. Your vote, your voice absolutely matters. And when I launched this campaign for governor a year ago, I never could have imagined the crisis that we would be facing in 2020. But I knew then that Missouri's working families needed a change, and I am even more certain of it now. The most important thing the next governor will have to do is contain the spread of this virus and rebuild Missouri's economy. The question is, will we rebuild in a way that helps working people get back on their feet? Or will we continue to ignore science and distract and rebuild only for well-connected special interests? I am running for governor to put Jefferson City back on the side of working families. Governor Parson has been in Jefferson City for almost 2 decades. He has had his chance. If he had a plan to lower the cost of health care, we would have seen it. If he had a plan to make sure that working people had access to health care, we would have seen it. If he had a plan to contain COVID so we could get our lives back, get our economy going again, we would have seen it. He has failed the test of leadership, and it is time for a change. The corruption of our politics is how Governor Parson got to where he is. He rose through the ranks of the establishment in Jefferson City with the help of some very powerful friends that are now spending millions to hold on to power so they can get what they want while Missouri families struggle. And you know what those insiders want? You know what those powerful special interests want? They want Missouri to be a right-to-work state. We voted no on Prop A. Why aren't they listening? As right to work was going down in flames because of so many here that work so dang hard. So dang hard for folks that are in unions and folks that aren't. You worked hard, and as that was going down in flames, Governor Parson's administration was trying to figure out how to implement right to work county by county. He said that if a right to work bill comes to his desk, he's gonna sign it. You better believe I would veto that thing. You know, these fights that you're in, they're personal to me too. My family worked their way into the middle class with the support of a union. You know, I kicked off this tour in St. Louis on Saturday, and my uncle, who works a crane for Local 513, he walked off the job site. I mean, he was done with his shift. He got off the job site and then walked over to our Get Out the Vote rally in St. Louis. What amazes me is that what the special interests and the insiders in Jefferson City are really saying is that if you make less in your paycheck, you will be better off. If you have fewer opportunities for you and for your family, you'll be better off. If they can hold onto the power so you don't have any, you will be better off. I don't think so. So when I say I am fighting to put Jefferson City back on the side of working families, you better believe I mean it. You know, as I traveled the state, folks are obviously talking about COVID, right? We need to reset on our COVID strategy. We are living Governor Parson's plan for COVID is not working. We need a reset on healthcare. If he had a plan and a vision, we would have seen it. But we also want funding for our schools, funding for our school districts, so teachers can get paid a wage that values the work that they do. You know, I know so many teachers that they have 1 or 2 jobs outside of the classroom, so they can pay their bills, because average starting teacher pay is right above the poverty line. And then we ask our teachers to dip into their own pockets for school supplies and for snacks for their kids. We're asking them to do so much. And that was before COVID. Now sometimes we're asking teachers to do 2 jobs, one online for our kids, right? Because Parson doesn't have a plan to open our schools, but then also in the classroom. And I have seen as state auditor how the system is rigged and how the system is broken. I have found over $370 million in government waste, abuses, and corruption. And because of my audit, 63 criminal counts have been brought against corrupt public officials in this state. I have seen that the money is not going where it should go. Back to make sure that healthcare is affordable, back into our schools. But the corruption in Jefferson City is even worse than that. Y'all know that these illegal gambling machines have been popping up all across the state, right? And gambling money, lottery money in our state goes to school districts. Well, as these illegal machines are popping up everywhere, and it's known that they're everywhere, they're diverting millions of dollars that is supposed to be going into education, supposed to be going to teachers in our classrooms. Well, the operators of these illegal machines have donated thousands to Governor Parson's campaign effort. And what did they get in return? He cuts funding for investigators that are supposed to weed out these illegal machines. I personally find it disgusting. The insiders win, and the rest of us just lose. It is time for a new way. We don't have to settle for this. We don't have to say that this is the absolute best that it can be. Government should not limit your ability to be successful. Government should not limit your child's ability to get a good education. Government should not limit your ability to provide for your family, to have a good job close to home, or to have access to affordable health care. As your state auditor, I have never settled for things just being the way that they are. I have always fought for things to be better for you and for your family. We can't just go back to where we were on the eve of this crisis because where we were wasn't good enough for too many people. As a mom, I don't settle when it comes to my kids. And as your governor, I am not going to settle either. Now, before I pass this back to Krista, there's a couple things that I just want to say. First of all, we have the momentum in this race. We are neck and neck in the polls. And I didn't get here on my own. I know no success is earned on its own. I got here because of your support. Because I know so many here have made phone calls, have knocked doors, have sent text messages, have done lit drops. You've talked to your family, you've talked to your friends, you've talked to your neighbors about why this matters, why you are voting, and who you're voting for. I know we're here at the Teamsters Hall. I found out earlier today that the Teamsters here in Missouri have made the most phone calls and voter contacts of any Teamsters local in the nation. And I know Preach is in the bus. Preach, he's driving. He's a Teamster. And you know what? He told me that he prays for me every day, that he prays for me when he wakes up, he prays for me before I get on the bus. That means so much to me and my family. And so I know I'm in good hands because he's praying for me, but I really know that I'm in good hands because he's a Teamster. I need you to volunteer. I need you to help us push us over the edge over the next 15 days. I know you know how to do it. I know you know how to just give a little bit more. And we're putting back into the party here too. In Jasper County, I think for the first time that we can recall, or at least the first time in modern history, we have voter protection efforts, legal voter protection efforts here in this county to make sure that you can safely vote and that your vote is counted. As I said at the very beginning, your vote matters, your voice matters. And I want to make sure that it matters here in this election. Thanks for your support. Thank you for being here. I so appreciate it. And let's do this thing. Thank you.
Hello, Southwest Missouri Democrats. Well, this is obviously a little bit different. It is truly an honor to be included in your event this year. While thinking about Eleanor Roosevelt, there is not a better quote for 2020 than "Do what you feel in your heart to be right, for you'll be criticized anyway." And that is what I love about the Southwest Missouri Democrats. We know that no matter what we do, we're going to be criticized. But you also know more than anyone how important it is that we stay present, vigilant, and doing what we know is right. And those principles are why I am so excited to be able to introduce you to your candidates who are running for the Missouri House of Representatives this year. People who truly know the importance of Democrats being present in every corner of Missouri. First, we have Brenda McKinney, who's running in House District 158. Brenda lives in Berry County and has been campaigning hard. She's showing folks in Berry how to take this virus seriously while also ensuring that Team Blue has a voice everywhere. Angela Thomas in House District 160. This district is in Newton County, and if you may not know, Angela is currently a city council member and the mayor pro tem. When COVID numbers started to rise in her community, she jumped right in as a leader should and encouraged her city to practice responsible behaviors. Angela ran in 2018 and is at it again because she knows that her opponent is far too extreme for Newton County and for the state of Missouri. Josh Shackles in House District 161, which contains Joplin, with voters from both Newton and Jasper counties. Josh has been a voice for positive change in the community for a really long time. He speaks at city council, and he gives his skills of production work for local equity efforts, including the Southwest Missouri Democrats, and civic-minded community broadcasting like Colbert Connection have been invaluable during the COVID crisis. As a local small business owner, Josh has always made time for community activism, and his involvement ranges from historic preservation service on the Joplin Little Theater Board to service on the Joplin Elks Lodge. Aaron Haley, who is running in House District 163. Aaron is a physical therapist assistant, and it is his work in healthcare as well as that of his fiancée, who's a nurse, that drove his run. Aaron was an alderman for the city of Oronogo until he moved to Carthage, and I am sorry if I said that name wrong. Aaron and his wife both know how important healthcare is to the community, especially now more than ever, and having that institutional knowledge about how important this crisis really is so important right now for the state. All of these candidates are selfless and brave. They know how important it is that we have strong and capable Democratic voices in these communities. We cannot win if we don't run. And when we present strong candidates like these, it not only helps our communities, but it helps get folks like Nicole Galloway into the governor's mansion. I am so thankful for their sacrifice. I cannot convey that enough, that we need you, and thank you for jumping in and stepping up. And I hope that you all have a great rest of your event. Thank you so much.
Hi, I'm Brenda McKinney. I'm your candidate for House of Representatives, District 158 in Berry County. I'm running to improve our health care, our education, and to bring quality jobs to Missouri. I'm also running to make sure that all Missourians have equal rights and to increase the percentage of women representation in our government.
I'm Angela Thomas, and I'm running for state representative in District 160. For decades, Republican candidates have run unopposed in District 160. I'm running to offer a choice. We need to work for a stronger economy. We need to work for affordable health care for everyone, a fully funded public school system, infrastructure improvements, and for support for our family farms and ranches. We cannot afford to continue with politics as usual, with legislation that has no support for our district, but legislation that pushes personal preferences above the growth and strengthening of our economy. The Missouri state motto is "the welfare of the people shall be supreme law." Our state government should care more about Missourians than special interests. This is how you love your neighbor.
Hello and welcome, Southwest Missouri. My name is Joshua Shackles. As many of you know, I am running for the office of State Representative in Missouri House District 161. I'm an event planner and community organizer in Joplin, and through my work as an event planner, I've had the opportunity to work with hundreds of local companies, nonprofit organizations, area governments, schools, and others to coordinate, organize, and promote festivals, fundraising events, business expos, and community events in our area. I like to think of myself as a pretty normal person. I'm not rich. I rent my home in Joplin like many others do, and spend as much time as possible volunteering in my community because I love this area and the people in it. I believe in the importance of a priority-based budget and share many of the same values with others in our community. The upcoming Missouri General Assembly will have to prioritize the most important issues impacting Missouri residents and decisions about how to allocate the budget in the upcoming session will impact schools, healthcare, and jobs. The state of Missouri will face many challenges in the area ahead, and I look forward to being part of the process that will help bring quality jobs to our area and will help put people in our community back to work. As your state representative, I will continue to be committed to our community. Thank you, and I appreciate your support on November 3rd.
Hi, my name is Aaron Haley, and I'm your Democratic candidate for Missouri's 163rd House seat. When elected and sent to Jefferson City, I will make it a priority to bring high-quality, high-paying jobs to the 163rd. These jobs will help improve the standard of living of all of our citizens, give us a broader tax base of support, and enable us to do many more things that which we are currently unable to do. Thank you for your support.
Thank you for joining us tonight, Southwest Missouri Democrats. It's 12 days until the November 3rd election, or as our friend Jason Kander would say, 11 days and a wake up. If you want to wake up to a new way in Missouri on November 4th, please make sure that you text or call me at 417-437-8443 to help Southwest Missouri Democrats with Get Out the Vote or election protections on Election Day.